All right, it's showtime, folks. We've got the Screen Actors Guild Award nominations out tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, again, I do have to remind you guys, I'm not going to be able to do the live reactions this time. Just doesn't work with my schedule this time, so I'll come back to them here tomorrow evening-ish sometime. I don't know. It might be 5, 5:30, 6 o'clock my time zone, so then I got to shoot the video, then I got to upload it, so it might be a little later on Wednesday. But the good news is, we have the BAFTA long lists also out tomorrow. I'm not sure. They might actually be out before the SAG nominations because depends on when, because they're about, from where I'm at, BAFTA's in London and everything, they're about 6 hours ahead. So they might be out, actually, by the time I get up tomorrow morning, which it'd be a little too early. So we're not going to, and I won't have time right away tomorrow morning to get into that. So, with that all being said, we'll go ahead and cover everything tomorrow once we know what's in. As far as what's going to be in, this is where we get to have some fun. So, pretty much from the last time we did a video here on Screen Actors Guild nomination predictions, I really haven't made that many changes. Really, the only changes I've really made significantly for stuff is just moving people around in like order from most likely to least likely to be nominated. But yeah, I've made like one change, and that's it. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start with the Stunt Ensemble category and work our way up to Best Film Ensemble. Again, just film categories here. All right, and again, you guys like to see me struggle, don't you? I don't have these alphabetized yet, so I'm going to do it on the fly and see how well it sticks. So for the Stunt Ensemble, I am sticking with Black Widow, Dune, The Harder They Fall, No Time to Die, and Shang-Chi. Those are my 5 there. The one I really debated dropping here, because it might just not show up, kind of like 1917, is Dune. Because it's not really the first thing you think of with Stunt Ensemble, but Dune, I would say I would be very, very surprised tomorrow if Dune does land like a film ensemble nomination, and even more surprised if it lands any individual acting nominations, because it really hasn't done very, very much of either with any like critics groups or anything like that. It wasn't among the 6 ensemble nominees at Critics' Choice. So it's one I was really close. I was like, oh, I think they'll want to give it something, though. So I'm like, that's really the only place to give it is Stunt Ensemble. And yeah, The Harder They Fall is one of those where it's like, yeah, it's got just enough stuff in it where it's like, it kind of feels like one of those Joker or Irishman kind of random nominees or whatever, alongside a few blockbusters there. Remember, one Western that did get in here a couple years ago was the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. So that one, I believe, that year, I think it was that one and 4 blockbusters, if I remember right. Oh boy, let's see if I can remember. Was that the 23rd? Oh, no, I'm off a couple years. Let's see, just a couple more clicks here. Yeah, it was. It was. It was Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Black Panther, Mission Impossible, Ant-Man and Avengers, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Avengers: Infinity War. So actually, this lineup, what I have here, almost, it is a symmetry of that. Yeah, which is kind of dangerous, so we'll see. But Harder They Fall, like Ballad of Buster Scruggs, is a Netflix one, and they love their Netflix. So, yeah, the one I was close to putting in, though, over Dune would have been West Side Story, just because of all the dance choreography and stuff. So I can see that one just fitting the mold just right to get a stunt ensemble nomination. Otherwise, I think the ones we mentioned last time, like Eternals and Spider-Man, the other 2 Marvel films, because Marvel always does very well here in this ensemble category for stunts. Matrix Resurrections is also one I would keep an eye on. It was pretty late to the party this year, so that's why I wasn't as gung-ho about it. And then Belfast, just because it's got just enough stuff in there, I would actually, again, not be blown over if that one gets in. Otherwise, I didn't really think, nothing else is coming to mind here for Stunt Ensemble. So, again, outside of something really, another kind of Best Picture favorite right now, like The Power of the Dog, just because, again, that one is a Western, but that one is a much quieter Western. It's like outside of a couple shots here and there of people rustling cattle or whatever, it's like it's a real stretch to say that there's heavy stunts in that one. Okay, so let's go ahead with the individual nominations here, the individual categories. Starting with Best Supporting Actress or Actress in a Supporting Role. They kind of, some of these shows do that a little differently here, but yep. So we'll start here with Catriona Balfe for Belfast, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story, Kirsten Dunst for Power of the Dog, I already screwed up, here we go, Ann Dowd as well for Mass, and then Ajon Ellis for King Richard. So, yeah, they're kind of all top of the alphabet there, funny enough, but anyhow. Yeah, the one, again, I was close to putting in here was Marlee Matlin for Coda, because I think there's a chance that Coda, kind of like Bombshell a couple years ago, just does super well here. And Coda, though, in fairness, though, is doing better than Bombshell at this point in the race, because Bombshell was not among the Critics' Choice Best Film nominees, as I recall, and it was not among the Golden Globe nominees, as I recall, so it's doing better than that. And I do think it's... as I wipe some snot away, sorry. I think for the ensemble category, Coda is still looking pretty good there. So I can see it being a 3-nominee film and Marlee just going in over somebody like Ann Dowd or possibly, even though I got her in first right now, that was kind of as a placeholder, Ajon Ellis. Possibly. Just depends on how well they like King Richard. Let's see, a couple other ones to look out for here are Rita Moreno, just in case, for West Side Story. I think Ariana DeBose, especially after the Globe win, not that, and again, this year is kind of different since we didn't have an actual ceremony, we didn't have acceptance speeches for that one. So I'm not saying it's totally discounted or whatever, but it's like, hey, they were a group that recognized her and stuff, and she's gotten a couple critics prizes as well. So yeah, that's definitely something to note there. Ruth Negga was also a nominee at the Golden Globes for Passing. As I remember, she was not nominated here a couple years ago for Loving, or it would be closer to 5 years ago now. Let's see, I'm going to fact check that. Yeah, she was not. They put Emily Blunt in instead for Girl on the Train. But again, SAG always likes early stuff. Or traditionally they lean more towards stuff that was out early. So, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything like an early contender for like an indie or something that we could be, totally, forgetting about. But I don't know. None of them are really coming to mind here. So, yep, that's that one. In the supporting actor category, I'm going to look at this first before I just start going into it here. Top one would be Jamie Dornan for Belfast, Ciarán Hinds for Belfast, Jason Isaacs for Mass, Troy Kutzer for Coda, and Cody Smith-McPhee for Power of the Dog. And again, I'm sticking with my thing of House of Gucci getting a goose egg tomorrow here. And again, it's close. I was close to putting one in and not the other, but again, I thought, you know what? I think with this one, I think SAG is either going to go all in, they're going to get both of them, and maybe even surprise us all and get an ensemble nomination out of nowhere. Maybe not out of nowhere, but, maybe gets an ensemble nomination on top of it. Or they just ignore it. And I'm like, right now, I think they just ignore it. Even though, yeah, in fairness, Lady Gaga's been getting in at both of the major ones so far. Gotten a couple notices here and there, otherwise among some critics groups. Jared Leto got the Critics' Choice nomination. So it's not like that one's totally dead right now, but right now I'm just not thinking that one's going to get super, super high hopes here. Otherwise, for some other contenders here to watch out for, some of the early stuff that maybe if it sticks around and does really well. The one I looked at here, I'm not considering him, majorly here. I'll just name it just in case it happens, kind of deal. Andrew Garfield for Eyes of Tammy Faye, just because it was an early one. We're very sure, or at least we're pretty sure that they're watching that one. So if enough people notice him, on top of him being in Tick Tick Boom, there's a very small chance that he does get 2 nominations tomorrow, but I wouldn't. Even though as much as I liked him in that one, I don't think he's gonna get that one. Otherwise, some people like, and I haven't really heard his name much so far this year. Mike Faist, I think, or Fast for if it's a silent I for some reason, for West Side Story. I'm not sure which role he plays in it, but some people like him as a kind of a dark horse to get in tomorrow if West Side Story does maybe a little better than expected. And don't forget, the original West Side Story did get 2 supporting actors in. Well, I should clarify, a supporting actress and a supporting actor. They both won, too. So, And I don't know if this was for the same role as what's his nuts from the original that won this category, but we all know that Ariana DeBose is playing the Rita Moreno role from the first one. So otherwise, a few people do like J.K. Simmons here because he got the Critics' Choice nomination. Still, some people are hanging on to both Richard Jenkins or Bradley Cooper for their respective roles, or even Jesse Plemons in case they really do like Power of the Dog that much, which is possible. I'm not going to totally dismiss that, but just the fact that it's been all Cody Smith-McPhee so far with all these lists and everything, I'm again day by day kind of looking at that one as less and less likely. Okay, moving on to Best Actress in a Leading Role, we have Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter, I'm sticking with Elena Heim for Licorice Pizza, Nicole Kidman for Being the Ricardos, and Kristen Stewart for Spencer. And I moved up, by the way, I think in almost every list, Nicole Kidman now have in second place. I mean, she does feel like she's actually in a decent spot to get her second Oscar win. Because I think a lot of actresses like Meryl Streep had to wait quite a few years between her second and third win. It hasn't been this many quite yet, but that one was, oh boy, let me do the math here, 29 years, if I remember right. Yeah, Sophie's Choice was 82, so that was 29 years. The Hours is going to be right at, I guess, not quite 20 years, it'd be 19 years. I'm trying to think the other multiple winners. Frances McDormand was at 21 for 3 Billboards. So, and obviously, like, some of the other multiple winners, like Hepburn, that one was a ways out. Jessica Lange, and this is not 2 Best Actress win, I'm just talking actresses who have more than 1 Oscar win. Jessica Lange's was about 10 years apart, 12 years apart? Yeah, 12 years apart for her case. So, I was thinking about it a little bit after the Globes win there. I'm like, well, maybe she is in a kind of spot where it's like, okay, it's been, we haven't awarded her an actual win here for a while. So I'm like, okay. And that's also in case maybe if Being the Ricardos does start to gain more traction in Best Picture, possibly could lend itself, if it really does nail another nomination there in the acting categories, whether it's Javier Bardem or J.K. Simmons. Screenplay is looking a little better for Aaron Sorkin. And that one could be a surprise nominee tomorrow for Best Ensemble. I wouldn't totally rule that one out. So that one is kind of starting to rise up, after a while here. So that's kind of a good spot for that movie right now. So watch out for that one. So we mentioned, Lady Gaga is definitely one I've got my eye on here to upset one of these ladies here. Otherwise, Jennifer Hudson, I would say not impossible, but this is kind of, especially for Oscar-wise stuff, this is kind of her last shot. If she can't get in here, it's going to be really tough sledding for the rest of the race here. The fact that she didn't get in for the Globes or Critics' Choice is also not very helpful. I don't know because we'll see the long list tomorrow, but especially nothing for BAFTA for that movie or for her would also really not be beneficial. Let's see, Rachel Zegler for West Side Story is also one I've got an eye on, but again, that one, even though I do think it's going to do okay tomorrow, possibly topping out at 3 or 4 nominations. I don't think it can get 5, which would be like 3 actors, ensemble, and stunt. I don't think it can quite get that, but I don't know. I mean, and the Globe win was kind of, expected and stuff, or she was kind of the favorite in that category and stuff. But I'm not going to put her down for tomorrow. And then Frances McDormand for Tragedy of Macbeth. Frances, I don't think in particular does uber well here at the Screen Actors Guild. I was going to look that up actually, see her track record there for SAG, because I know she's got some TV stuff in there too. That's true, but. Fargo, Almost Famous, North Country, and 3 Billboards, and Nomadland. So this would be her, if she was nominated tomorrow, would be her 6th nomination. But, again, that one has really, Tragedy of Macbeth has really not been doing well, so, and she, even though from early on it seemed like she was going to be a pretty good bet there, has really not taken off. It's been all Denzel and cinematography, and that's pretty much it. Okay, for the leading actors, my 5. are Benedict Cumberbatch for Power of the Dog, Peter Dinklage for Cyrano, Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom, Will Smith for King Richard, and Denzel Washington for Tragedy of Macbeth. Yeah, and I really think this could be the easiest category tomorrow. I mean, we could be due for an upset here. We could see Javier Bardem get in, possibly Joaquin Phoenix. And it wasn't like an early release, but it was screened early, was Red Rocket. Some people are liking Simon Rex as a real dark horse here. Not to win, but to be nominated here tomorrow. Otherwise, another one some people are looking at is Jude Hill for Belfast, just in case that one does overperform and gets the child actor in the way that Room did 5-6 years ago. Even Nicolas Cage for Pig, which got the Critics' Choice nomination, some people are thinking has a chance. Mahershala Ali for Swan Song also. Again, that last one there, Swan Song, it had AFI premiere earlier in the year, November. But, it was on Apple kind of late, so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. But otherwise, yeah, it feels like it's kind of slim after that. Okay, so your ensemble nominees, I predict, are Belfast, Coda, The Harder They Fall, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. So, yeah, I took out King Richard, which, I was kind of close on that one, but I was like, I don't know, that one doesn't really seem to be sticking around as much. It's not, I would say it's really far away now for a chance at Best Director. I can see it even possibly, if time goes on, maybe even falling out of Screenplay. And getting, it would get Picture, the 2 actors in. I don't have it in for editing anymore, so it'd kind of have to settle for 3, maybe 4 nominations if it sticks with that Screenplay nominee, and they kind of all be above the line, except for the song nomination. I would say that's probably a good bet right now, too. So, and I can see that one being a 5 nominee film. Yeah, that would be, kind of about where those normally land, is in that 5 to 6 range there. And even though that one was an earlier one than something like West Side Story, I can't forget, Bombshell was kind of late in the season a couple years ago too, and that one did very well here. And that was after it did bounce back from kind of a poorer Globes and Critics' Choice reception, as I recall. I think that was the order that year. But otherwise, Coda was out pretty early this year, so that one I'm pretty good on. Harder They Fall is Netflix, and it's a very almost all black cast, and they like those movies, like Beast of No Nation, and like Mudbound, and a couple of those. So good precedence for that. Now, Power of the Dog, some people are thinking actually could be like a Marriage Story, or could be like The Post, or some of these ones where we just automatically put it in, but it's maybe not the case for The Post, but for some of those other ones, it's like, well, if the ensemble looks a little smaller, sometimes they might not mark it. But I'm like, well, say that to Beast of No Nation, which had 3 in its whole ensemble. Yeah, I got to disagree with that. Belfast has plenty of kids in it and stuff, and it is another Oscar favorite. So, yeah, I don't really see that one faltering here. West Side Story has from the sound of it there, it sounds like that's one, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know how the credit stuff went. But again, that one, it seems like it's a pretty big ensemble, so, and a lot of younger actors in that one. So it seems like that one should be in good shape, and it's been sticking around higher up on the list and stuff for a lot of these shows with a lot of nominations, or getting close to tying for most nominations, if not being like second or third in the list there and stuff. So I don't see that one totally falling apart here. Don't Look Up, a lot of people like, but again, that the way those credits go in the beginning, I'm like, nope, that was automatically a no for me, just because it's always a Netflix film that does that. We mentioned Being the Ricardos, we mentioned House of Gucci. Some people are still picking stuff like French Dispatch and Licorice Pizza, Mass, Nightmare Alley. A couple people are optimistic about maybe something like Dune getting in, or even Tick, Tick, Boom, because that one is another Netflix one. But yeah, I don't quite think so. I think the 5 I have, I feel good about. I'm not going to say 100% on, but I feel good about these 5. It's kind of a good mix for what they traditionally try to go for here at SAG, and I'm just kind of liking where I'm at with these. So no, other than West Side Story, no reason to really make a lot of dangerous kind of last minute switches there and just be like, oh, here. A couple of those have paid off in the past. I mean, I put Amanda Seyfried in last minute at the Oscars last year because I was like, she kept kind of being a little erratic through the season there. So I'm like, I don't think so. But then I can't remember who it was I pulled, but I was like, no, but Mank feels like one they're going to watch. So I'm like, okay, they'll put her in. And they did. Gosh, I can't remember, because I got 19 out of the 20 last year in the acting categories at the Oscars. I think it was Lakeith Stanfield was the only one that nobody got. Because most prediction sites didn't even list him as supporting actor. They had him as lead. So yeah, in all fairness, it's kind of hard to get that one. But on that same logic, I remember I put in David Strathairn for Nomadland. But yeah. Okay, otherwise for SAG stuff, I really think that's about it. Like I said, yeah, for the BAFTA list and everything there, it's like it's kind of whatever they want to go with. I'm sure we'll see some, like last year, we'll see some British indies in there that get in. We're like, okay, I haven't heard of that one, but it's probably not a bad bet because they did go with quite a few of those last year in the final nominations and stuff. Let's see. Otherwise, I'm kind of looking through the last few years. I'm trying to pick out, because there's almost always one or two kind of what the fuck nominations here at SAG. Like there's always those one or two who get in. You're like, oh wow, that didn't even occur to me. Let's see. Let me look at last year's here. I'll start with that one. I guess if any of them last year, it could have been Jared Leto for The Little Things. I can't remember if it was SAG or if it was Golden Globe first last year. I thought it was SAG last year that announced first, but either one, when he showed up at whichever one it was, because he was at both, we were all like, oh, wow, where did that kind of come from? And that was kind of about it. Otherwise, the ensemble nominees, it was like none of them were ones that we were totally like, oh, it's not going to happen. Let's see here. 2019... I don't know. I think Jamie Foxx for Just Mercy was one, and that was kind of a later one that year, too, so... that was about it. And Nicole Kidman, arguably, for Bombshell. Though I remember some people were kind of optimistic about her chances there that year. Let's see. 2018. Nothing in the top two categories that didn't, that made us scratch our heads there. Emily Blunt for A Quiet Place, probably, who ended up winning, of course, for that one in 2018. 2017... not a ton here that are sticking. Oh, Steve Carell, Battle of the Sexes was kind of a random one there. Because I think all the one for supporting actress, yeah, those make sense. Yeah, Big Sick was another one that bounced back big at SAG after it kind of underperformed at the Globes. Got goose egg there, actually. Let's see, yeah, we mentioned Emily Blunt for Girl on the Train in 2016. I think that was about it. We'll go one more. Yeah, 2015, I remember I was getting like 2 out of 5 or 1 out of 5 in some of those categories that morning. So that's where you get your Sarah Silverman for I Smile Back. You get your Jacob Tremblay for Room. You get, I think there was one more. Beasts of No Nation for Ensemble. Yep. Let's see here. Arguably, some people didn't have Michael Shannon. Like I didn't have Michael Shannon in anything that year for 99 Homes, and then he kind of dropped off after that one. After SAG there, because he got, I think it was both SAG and Globe nominations there. And then he totally dropped off that year. Anyways. But again, I kind of looked through and it's like, I'm trying to think of those random ones, and we named a few of them here, but yeah. Like I said, SAG always throws a wrench in there somewhere, so I'm sure mine are not going to end up being perfect tomorrow, but that's what I got for now. I really don't have much to add, so here you go. Super 20-minute video here. But yeah, we'll go ahead and call it good there, and we will see everybody tomorrow after the nominations are out for both SAG and the long list for BAFTA.